Sorry, I've just been thinking about how to play games solo. I'm playing Star Wars Imperial Assault. So I'll put that on pause. What I wanted to talk about today was hopefully it will be the first of an upcoming series about different game mechanics. Those would be things like how do you play the game? What kind of structure do you add to the game? How do you progress through the game? Those sorts of mechanics. There's a whole long list, and it's impossible to explain everything all in one video. So I will make a series of 5 videos. So each will include 5 different mechanics. And then you'll better understand and realize why it's so important to have those mechanics, because it helps you if you're trying to find a specific game and you're not sure if you like the game. One of the best things that you could do is figure out what type of mechanics. And if I know that I like these certain things and that game fits them, it'll work. If I don't like those things, then maybe that's not a good fit for me. So that's really important to know is what are your preferences and what will fit that or won't. So first I'm going to start with the most common, most popular type, and that's called roll and move. Again, it's a pretty simple. You roll or use a spinner, or you can even flip a card and it'll have a number, and then you follow how many spaces or how far you can move. I'd say the most common types would be sorry, oh, find something, move 7 spaces, or I can move 2 and then 3 and 4, or 5 and 2, and that's what you can do. So that's one example. Or something like Monopoly. You roll, get a number, move. So that's kind of the concept of roll and move. And that's one of the most common and most basic, simple types of mechanics. The second type is called set collection. And that means during the game, your goal is to collect maybe like 4 of the same color, or you need to collect 1 of each of 5 types of cards or items of some sort. You have a goal of I want 1 of each of those and play until you get that collection, and then either you win the game or you get points, or that leads you to get a better ability. Kind of just depends on the game, but that's kind of the basic concept is you want to collect a certain set of things. Examples of that would be games like the Forbidden series, like Forbidden Island, Forbidden Deserts, Forbidden Sky. Those type of series have specific treasures that you need to collect. The islands, you have to get 4 certain types, and you have specific number of cards, like something maybe with the same color, and then you get that treasure. So if you get a red card, I get 4 of the red, then that means that I'll get that treasure. So that's kind of an example of a set collection. The third type is called auction or bidding. So auction bidding. That type of game typically requires you to try and compete with another player to auction or bid for certain items, cards, whatever the game uses. Maybe the game has money, or it could have specific dice that you need to use and set up a value, something that you're willing to get for that specific item. Some examples of that would be Crypt. That game, you want to collect certain antiques or heirlooms. So you set those out and everybody competes to get them. And if I have specific dice, I can set up, oh, I'll do 3. The other person says, well, I'm going to try 4 and see if they can beat me. But it requires you to roll and either match or get above that number, and then you get to keep the die. If not, then the other person could, throw my dice into jail. So, and then you have to wait until you get them later, so it involves risk, but that's one example. Another one could just be putting out money. I have a certain amount of money that I have to be wise on budget. If I want to be a high bidder or a low bidder, be a little bit more careful. So that's called auction or bidding. The fourth type is called Take That. Take That. So that one's kind of, again, common in quite a few games. Really, the mechanics of that are a little bit more flexible. They're not so rigid. The goal is more of, I want to either get revenge or cause trouble or make the other player screw up. I want to screw up their game. An example could be, I roll and they lose their turn, or I have a card and it skips their turn. For example, the game Uno, that's a very famous game. Oh, you have to draw two, or I flip a card and we skip you, that sort of thing. So that's called Take That. So pretty much the point is you want to screw up the other player so that I can get ahead in the game and kind of go back and forth, and you kind of keep trying to screw each other over. The fifth one is called Action Point Allowance System. So Action Point Allowance System, you might think that sounds kind of complicated. It's a long title, there's 4 words in it, but it's actually not that complicated. Pretty much the main concept is within the game, you want to provide a specific number of actions of things that you can do during your turn. Maybe you have a list of, say, 4 or 5 actions you can do. But on your turn, you can only pick 2 of those, meaning I have to think wisely, which ones do I want to do during my turn? Do I want to pick this one, or ooh, maybe this and that? An example of that would actually be the game that I'm playing now, which is called Imperial Assault. And in that game, during my turn, I have to figure out, okay, I can either move, I can use my abilities, I can capture, I can rest or heal, or I can interact with my environment within the map. So those are the different things, but I can only pick 2 of them. So do I want to heal now, or maybe wait until later, or do I think it's a good opportunity to capture? Or maybe I really need to interact with the environment to get a specific card or something that I need to accomplish my mission. So you can only pick 2 of the 5. So that's the concept of the action point allowance system. Some games have a lot that you can choose from and it becomes very complicated, and some games are simple. There's only 4 and you pick 1 or 2. And you just kind of strategize during your turn, and then the other players take their turns, and everyone just goes along that way. That's kind of nice, in just that the game can vary a little bit, instead of just, oh, sorry, you roll, you move, you roll, you move, oh, great. This is a little bit different, because each person can act different. I can decide what I want to do and what actions and abilities I have, so that's pretty cool. So those are the 5 game mechanics for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you're interested and want to see more in the series and different mechanics, let me know. Maybe you have one specific one that I described. Let me know which one you like. Leave a comment of what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.